Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Lekon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. Tinubu seeks National Assembly approval for $21.5 billion loan, 758 billion naira pension bond. PDP's National Executive Committee constitutes zoning committee to resolve National Secretary crisis at next NEC meeting slated for June 30. Plus, Algeria's presidential aspirants jailed for 10 years over corruption charges. Details to come your way shortly. Let's start by telling you that the Senate on Tuesday received a formal request from President Tinubu seeking approval for a $21.5 billion external loan along with 758 billion naira domestic bond issuance. The funds, according to the President, are intended to finance critical infrastructure, health, education and water supply projects across the country. The request was read during plenary and has been referred to the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts. Lawmakers expect a report on the proposal within 2 weeks. In a separate letter, the President also asked for Senate authorization to issue federal government bonds worth 757.9 billion naira in the domestic debt market. That funding is earmarked specifically to settle outstanding pension liabilities under the Contributory Pension Scheme. The proposals now await detailed legislative scrutiny as debate continues over Nigeria's growing debt profile and economic recovery priorities.
The House of Representatives is invited to note that the 2025-2026 borrowing plan cut across all sectors with specific emphasis on infrastructure, agriculture, health, education, water supply, growth, security and employment generation, as well as financial management reforms, among others. Total facility of the project and programs under the borrowing rolling plan is United States dollars 21,543,647,912, and also 2,193,856,324.54 euro, and in Japanese yen 15 billion yen, and grant of 65 million respectively, and the summary of the breakdown is attached.
Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has condemned child bullying and is promising to create a better and more secure environment for children in the country. In his Children's Day message on Tuesday, the President announced the launch of the See Something, Say Something, Do Something campaign to encourage Nigerians nationwide to become a child protection champion. The President noted that this year's Children's Day theme, which is Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bullying-Free Generation, is a fitting reminder of the need to build a culture where every child is respected and heard. Meanwhile, in a landmark visit to the Senate, some school children were guests of the Red Chamber as part of activities marking this year's Children's Day. They marched in single file to shake hands with President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and gain first-hand knowledge of the workings of the upper house of Parliament. Well, still at the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to prioritize policies that support children's health, education and welfare, as well as improve information and communications technology infrastructure in rural communities to ensure equitable access for all children. This followed a resolution of the House on a motion of urgent public importance in the commemoration of International Children's Day, presided over by a shadow speaker, Lawal Sani, where the House expressed concern over issues such as food insecurity, limited access to health care, and the shortage of educational resources, especially in rural communities.
The House is disturbed that potential transition of WAEC, West African Education Council, to computer-based testing by 2026 could present significant challenges in the digital divide amongst students, especially in rural communities and underserved communities.
And joining us now is Gloria George from Abuja. She's a faith-based teens coach. Thank you so much, Gloria, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so let me just pose the question. Now, the President, Bola Tinubu, has said he wants a bullying-free society for children. How do you think that can be achieved?
Okay, so for us to have a society that is bully-free, I think moral values have to be instilled into every child. And the first point of contact that our children are supposed to be impacted in line with values is the family. So when parents are intentional about imbibing moral values into their children, where they know right from wrong, what to do and what not to do, because these values are what will shape their behavior from the house all the way into the society. So when they are adequately equipped with knowledge on how to behave at home, they will definitely take that character out into the society, and they will see that there will be no reason to bully someone, because if you know what is right to do, you will definitely do it. So I feel it's very important that parents should be intentional, should be deliberate to instill moral values into their children. What are you teaching your child all the way from the house? What is your family vision, first of all? What are you known for? What do you want your children to represent? Because your children are a representation of you everywhere that they go. So in the midst of our busy schedules, we should make out time to have family time, bonding time, teaching sessions for our children. We should not just leave it to the society. We should not leave it to the schools and then also to the church, because the children spend more time in the house with us at home than when they go to school or they go to church. So the church and the school and every other organization that our children are involved in are supposed to add to what we are doing as parents at home, to the foundation of godliness, the foundation of moral stability that we are laying all the way from the house. So when we are able to get it right from the home, we will be able to have a society that is free of bullying, if not completely, to a very large extent. Thank you.
So the president also talked about the thing, which is see something, say something, do something. Now, what do you think the role of the society should be along these lines?
Well, the role of the society to see something, say something, do something is not to be silent. Everybody has a responsibility to every child. When you see a child going astray, don't just turn, the other eye and say, it's not my child. Seek to help, seek to teach, seek to nurture. Let's not be too quick to condemn, because sometimes, we see children, maybe they throw tantrums in public or they exhibit some kind of character that is not okay. Then you already condemn, whose child is this? Every child is your child. Even if the home fails, the society can take it up from there. And it's individuals that make up the society. So if every individual is concerned about the next person, then we'll be concerned about raising the children that we see. We will make an effort, to correct something that is wrong. We'll not just let it pass. Because when we keep letting wrong things pass without doing something about it, then evil will thrive. So just like the Bible says, if the righteous do nothing, then evil will prevail. So if you know what is right and you see what is wrong, your first action to be to set the record straight, to seek to help, to seek to nurture, to seek to groom, to seek to correct. Some of these children don't have who to talk to. They don't have role models. You can be a role model to somebody else's child. You can be a role model to somebody else that is not your own biological child. It's just all of us having that responsibility to see to it that we are all responsible to raise it, to having a moral-based society. It's not the job of one person. It's not just the job of the president. It's the job of every individual. We owe our children that. We owe our youth. We owe our teens. We owe it to ourselves to make sure that the generation that is coming after us will do better than us. So we have to be the example to set the record straight. Even by the way that we behave as adults, we should know that the children are watching. And because we know that they are watching, we should be able to set good values for them to copy. And then we should also be able to correct whatever it is that we see or feel that is wrong. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how do we now promote the culture of respect and create safe spaces in marginalized and rural communities for these children?
The culture of respect, like I said earlier, has to start from the home. And then where the home misses it, the schools will do their part, should do their part. The churches, religious organizations, no matter the stage of society, whether it's in the rural, whether it's in the urban, we should inculcate what respect is. We should teach it. We should model it to the children, and we should correct them when we see them doing what is wrong. Respect starts with you having respect for yourself. When you love yourself, when you respect yourself, you'll be able to respect the next person. So first of all, our children need to be taught what respect is. Adults need to model what respect is. And respect reflects in the way we talk, the way we carry ourselves, the actions that we show. You know, it's all encompassing. So when we do this in all the stages of society, our children will pick it up from there. And then they will learn to model it. They will learn to practice it. If the foundation was not even right, let's say from the home or from anywhere that these children find themselves, they should just be that individual that is concerned about making sure that the next child, the next individual, the next, let me even say adults as well, because some of us are adults, and then we have children's mind. Some of us are carrying hurt, some of us are carrying pain. You know, something childhood did to us has marred a part of us that we exude it to the society unconsciously. So we should just be our brother's keeper, teaching these things to ourselves and reaching out to help when help is needed, being a strong comfort to someone else, being that role model that is seen to it that let my society, whether rural or urban, be better because of me, because I came, because I know something and I want to leave something on the sand of time.
All right, Thank you so much, Gloria George, for that extensive speech. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Let's move on now. Yeah, you're welcome. Now, the Niger Delta Development Commission, in conjunction with a non-government organization, Indigo Bloom Foundation, has held a party for children in Delta States, south of Nigeria, to mark this year's Children's Day celebration with the theme, Our Children, Our Future. The event was held at Donish International School, Ifrun, Ovie local government area of Delta State, as part of the activities marking NDDC's 25th anniversary. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu tells us more.
Pupils and students from different schools in Warri and environs converged on Domish International School, Ephraim, Uya local government area of Delta State to mark this year's Children's Day, organized by the Niger Delta Development Commission in conjunction with a non-governmental organization, Indigo Bloom Foundation, with the theme, Our Children, Our Future.
We want each and every child here present to know that they matter to us as NDDC. Your voice, your dreams, your ambition, your passion, your future is very, very important to us.
The children engage in various activities such as dancing competitions, painting, question and answer sessions, and other events to make the occasion a fun fair. The children then appealed to governments at all levels to implement and give priority to the Child Rights Acts protecting the rights and well-being of Nigeria's children.
This event, not just to spark joy and excitement, but it's also for them to know that our sponsors at the NDDC want them to know that as Niger Deltans, they support their dreams, they support their vision. And we are partnering with them because we have similar values and visions, and that's to bring the children to their full potentials.
Most of the times in Nigeria, especially in the rural areas, we see children in a lot of ghetto areas that are not healthy, they are not civilized, and they can cause a lot of harm to them. So I appeal to the government to increase the standard of living for the children, because they are the futures of tomorrow.
This generation is our future. If we don't treat them well, the future is going to be terrible. So we need to advise them we need to also bring them in the way of God.
I think the parents should be active. They should monitor the social platforms their children enter. They should limit their screen time. They should watch the kind of friends they keep, provide the very good educational system so the children will be able to grow up wise and knowledgeable.
A major highlight of the event was the ceremonial cutting of the Children's Day cake to commemorate NDDC's 25 years of existence. In Ephraim for News Central, Austin, Azu.
But it's not all a day of joy for some Nigerian families, as the family of 12-year-old Favor Oluwaseyi is marking Children's Day differently this year in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Instead of celebrations, they are protesting at the Rivers State Police Headquarters over alleged police compromise in handling her abduction case. Favor went missing 9 months ago, and despite investigations tracing the suspected kidnapper to an inmate in Enugu Correctional Center, the family claims no progress has been made toward arrest and prosecution. Allegations of police misconduct have further complicated the case, with claims of extortion and ineffective action.
All we are saying, bring back Favor. Favor must come. All we want Favor.
We're now going to break on the news. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go away. Many thanks for being there. We tell you that the Lagos State government has announced traffic diversion on major roads ahead of the Economic Community of West African States Golden Jubilee. The event is scheduled for May 27 to 29. Deputy Director of Public Affairs at the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, Bolanle Ogunlola, issued the advisory in a statement on Monday. President Bola Tinubu is expected to deliver a speech on the economic achievements of the regional bloc during the event. Ogunlola said the advisory is aimed at ensuring smooth flow of traffic and enhancing security around NIIA House and Eco Hotels during the event. And joining us now is a lawyer, Okiki Adeniro, from Lagos to talk about this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
You're welcome. So ECOWAS is 50. Is it just in the years, or has ECOWAS truly come of age?
Well, ECOWAS is 50. Yes. Talking about the years, it's been a long time. 50 years is not small. But to say, have they come of age? Has ECOWAS come of age? Not at all. Although ECOWAS, there's been a lot of, steps in making sure that there's peace, security, at the regional states and other member states. However, it is very clear and it's glaring that there are still some other issues that ECOWAS still needs to put in place. There are some other things that are challenges that ECOWAS will probably need to work on. I'll take for an example, recently, and I know this is public knowledge, there's been internal division, right, in ECOWAS, and these are the issues that are really playing out in ECOWAS, and these are the things that we look at and we say that not yet come of age, although ECOWAS is 50, it's a long time, but there's still a lot of work to be done based on maturity.
One of the issues has to be the Commission losing some members who claim that the bloc is a stooge of the West. I mean, the highly talked about withdrawal of membership by Burkina Faso and the Niger Republic and Mali comes to mind. So is ECOWAS stronger now, or in your own view, is it weaker?
Well, I'll say that right now, without those three states, ECOWAS can be, I'll say it's weaker in that sense. And the reason I'm saying this is because there are a lot of things that, just like I said, ECOWAS needs to put in place, such as security, such as peace within the member states. And without having all these states together, it makes everything that is being done by ECOWAS counterproductive, in the sense that the things that are being said, are being discussed, will probably not be effective in all these countries. For example, in Mali, in Niger, in Burkina Faso, it's so sure that even after having meetings like this, because they're not members of ECOWAS again, it's very, very difficult to effect these changes. And you agree with me that one of the challenges we're having is basically security. Security has been like the major thing, especially in all these parts, all these countries that we just mentioned. So it's the fact that these countries are not part of ECOWAS, in a way, as weaken, what can be done. Most especially, the inputs of ECOWAS will not be welcomed by those member states. And in fact, just to add, I believe that if we go on this way, and if ECOWAS do not look for a way to resolve this issue, it can lead to disintegration of ECOWAS itself, by other member states trying to take the lead and follow the steps of the other countries, that just left ECOWAS.
Okay, before I let you go, there's this belief that ECOWAS seems to have outlived its relevance. You talked about insecurity. Some people will equally blame it for economic retrogression on the continent. What do you think? A revamp of leadership, a revamp of policy, or what?
Basically, I believe the two. A revamp of policy, revamp of leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership, most especially the things happening right now in ECOWAS, right? I believe that the things that can be resolved and settled, but without having a right leadership, having the right, vision towards these kind of things, and having people, the other states to come together, other countries come together, and this disintegration is happening. It's basically the policy, the leadership. The leadership, they need to look inward and ensure that things are settled in-house even before making policies and, doing other things, they are doing. So I believe that what they should also discuss as they meet, right, is to discuss the issue of, leadership. How do we lead these other countries? How do we bring everybody together? How do we, integrate the regions, the regional integration, economy, the political, the democratic states of other countries? All these things should be looked into and should be addressed, right? When all these things are addressed, it can be certain that, even the ones that are left can, find their way back to be part of, ECOWAS. So basically, simple terms, I believe that the leadership should be looked into. Policies, yes, should also, be looked into. Policies that will help should be, put together by ECOWAS.
All right, Okiki Adeniro, thank you so much for talking to us at this time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now, the controversy over the position of national security in the People's Democratic Party remains unresolved, as the party's National Executive Committee says a final decision will be taken at its next meeting slated for June 30. Addressing journalists at the conclusion of the 99th NEC meeting held in Abuja, the acting national chairman of the party, Umar Iliya Damagum, said the NEC received and adopted a resolution from the Southeast Zonal Executive Committee on the disputed office, but deferred final action. Meanwhile, the NEC ratified the composition of key committees ahead of the party's national convention. Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri will chair the Zoning Committee for National Offices. It will be supported by Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal as Vice Chairman and Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang as Secretary. Now we tell you that the recent moves by some Nigerian politicians to form a fresh coalition of opposition parties are eliciting reactions from the public. In Abia State, some members of opposition political parties in exclusive interviews told our correspondent Chinwe that it is necessary to form such alliance to form a formidable force. Here's the report.
APC, given the manner some of their members are deriding the party's principles.
Wike says it's in PDP, but has already said it for everybody to listen, anybody who cares to listen, that Tinubu is his candidate for 2027 election. Move your body and soul to the structure, the political structure of Tinubu.
The major opposition political parties, the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, and New Nigeria People's Party, all have issues with unending crisis, while the ruling All Progressives Congress benefit from the situation with influx of new members. While some politicians believe that an alliance of the opposition parties will guarantee a better chance at playing a true opposition, others think it is not a guarantee for victory for some reasons.
Because of lack of ideological commitment, you see that the current drag is based on personality. So yeah, it will raise some discussion, raise some heat, but when they can stand the test of time, what will be doing? They can't. Why they are unable to say this is even going to be our leader? It's because it's been propelled by personal interest.
It is their opinion that the bigwigs involved will somehow look beyond their personal interests and consider choosing the person with better opportunities at the polls to truly succeed.
In this generation now, you need, somebody at the youths, somebody that can excite the youths. An ordinary candidate, a normal candidate, an everyday candidate, a status quo candidate may not beat. They find it more difficult to beat Tinubu.
Perhaps they may have a good race. I don't know about winning, but if we talk to the people that look like the people that are there, the coalition will just be a vain attempt at power again. The people will gain the publicity and those who win will still win.
If this coalition works, will it be strong enough to rattle the incumbent, or will it be a fruitless exercise because personalities involved have egos larger than the interest of the people? In Oma for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Now, with democratic institutions across West Africa under pressure, innovators and digital governance advocates are turning to technology as a tool to rebuild trust and empower citizens. At a civic technology conference held in Lagos, stakeholders from across the region discussed how digital tools can be used to fight corruption, promote accountability, and ensure more inclusive governance. News Central Siwe Sianyo has more.
Across West Africa, concerns about democratic decline and growing distrust in digital institutions are driving a search for innovative solutions. At the West Africa Civic Tech Conference held in Lagos, stakeholders gathered to explore how technology can reshape governance across the region.
There is a massive role for technology to play, and we've seen this being played out in terms of how we organize elections in West Africa, in terms of how we deal with our justice and human rights issues, and importantly too, how we engage as citizens.
The willpower of the government to want to make things better, to want a better life for their people, to want to make sure that we improve from, being in a stone age and catch up with the rest of the world will be the only reason why they would want to encourage innovators, why they want to encourage startups, and then give them the right tools to need to grow.
Artificial intelligence and data analytics are also emerging as powerful tools. They allow governments to track the performance of public projects in real time and make informed decisions based on reliable data.
So if I'm coming with facts, we just released the report showing that 11,000 projects were inserted to the National Assembly to the budget. We have the evidence, we have the data.
All over West Africa right now, young people, citizens are demanding accountability, they are demanding transparent elections. This is why this event is so important. It is a way to introduce technology into our everyday active citizenship, into our protests, into how we engage on social media, how we engage online, how we ask government for transparency and accountability.
Speakers highlighted how digital platforms are changing the way citizens engage, influence, and demand accountability.
Like you see young people already participate using technology tools, using social media, etc., to share, to create, to do everything. They did not wait to be older to participate to the democracy, to the running of the governance of our country or society.
Stakeholders believe the future of democracy in West Africa may depend on how boldly the region embraces technology and how well it bridges the digital divide. In Lagos, for News Central, CWC Anya.
Let's now go on a break on the news. When we return, we'll talk about fighting insecurity in Nigeria. Just stay with us. Many Nigerians have wondered and sought to know why banditry and kidnapping, which have plagued many communities, especially in northern Nigeria, seem unending. New Central Television has attempted to unravel some of the activities that tend to feed this monstrous challenge that the nation has been grappling with for years. This follows a recent interview granted by a retired major and leader of Dandome Community Vigilante Group in Katsina State, which exposed the ugly underbelly of the fight against banditry in the area. Jamil Mabai tells us more in this report.
In Dandume local government, located in the southern part of Katsina State, terror wears two faces. One hides in the forest, armed and ruthless, kidnapping and killing people at will. The other allegedly wears a uniform and stands at checkpoints. One man, a retired major and the leader of Dandume Community Vigilante Group, exposes the army alleged betrayal on the community of Dandume and the deep-rooted extortion and corruption within the army.
During harvest, soldiers connive with bandits to devour people's farm produce. The army collects money as a percentage from relatives before they grant them passage to deliver ransom to bandits.
Saminu was arrested carrying ammunitions. He confessed that a soldier gave him the ammunition.
We caught him with bullets. He told us one soldier they gave him the bullets to deliver to a bandit. I sent for Captain Rabiu, the leader of army troops stationed at Machika Dandume. I handed over Saminu and the bullets to him. I urged him to take the necessary action against the soldier for betraying the military ethical code.
Allegedly, the army are helping the bandits, extorting families, taking cuts from ransom, even supplying bullets to bandits.
Abin da ya fi bani mamaki lokacin da muka je muka samu sojojin.
What surprised me was the way the army insisted that we must pay them money before they can grant us access to deliver ransom to the bandits.
Sannan mu wuce akai wa'annan mashinan ni wannan abin shine yafi bani mamaki akai.
News Central traveled to Ndumi, risking danger to uncover the truth on these allegations. We patrolled the community at night. Even when the bandits surrounded Ndumi, the army are nowhere to be found.
As you can see, this is around 11 p.m. and there is skeletal movements of the bandits.
We interviewed victims of army extortions. We interviewed the father of a bandit informant who was caught with live ammunitions, handed over to the military, but released after the father allegedly paid 100,000 naira bribe to the camp commandant.
Muka haɗo innan kuɗi 100,000 muka zo muka same yace mu same shi Jankwano. Muka zo Jankwano asibiti Dandume.
We gathered 100,000 naira. We met Captain Rabiu at Jankwano Dandum in mechanic workshop with 2 other people. He took us to shop, collected the money and promised to release Saminu.
Ya kira mu wani daki na muka bashi kuɗi ya kirga. Ya ce mana to da yamma zai sako shi in an sha ruwa. Zai sako Saminu.
11 days later, he was released by Captain Rabiu after the sum of 100,000 naira was allegedly given to the army captain stationed at Machika in Ndumi. 4 days after the leader of the community watch raised alarm, how can a known informant caught red-handed be released just after a few days by the army?
I informed Lieutenant Colonel Aminu, the leader of the 17th Brigade Intelligence Officer. He assured me he would contact Captain Rabiu to verify the situation. Later he called me back, claiming Saminu was still in custody and hadn't been released by Captain Rabiu. I told him Saminu has been released. Left with no option, I raised the alarm.
Saminu was rearrested by the army. Till date, no one knew his whereabouts.
In Katsina, for News Central, Jamil Mabai.
And joining us now from Katsina State is News Central's correspondent, Jamil Mabai. Jamil, that's a fantastic story that you actually risked your life for to bring to us. But then this report is telling a lot of stories that we need to unravel. What more should we know about the banditry in that part of the country?
Okay, Ndumi is one of the foremost frontline areas that, has been bedeviled by activities of banditry. And most of the warlords are located there, like Ado Aliru and his likes. But in particular, what's going on in Ndumi, was something, until you visited the area, that's when you can see what is happening. So News Central, we were there, we spent a day, we went out for patrol. And, it's very obvious at night, you see the bandits, with their motorcycles moving around, surrounding Ndumi or going to neighboring communities and commit crimes. And the unfortunate reality is, these things are happening, in the presence of the military, and they do nothing. So, only the vigilantes and the police are left to defend their territory. And you can hear from the retired major, who happens to be a military officer. He knows the value of what it means to wear the Nigerian uniform, and now he contributing to the local, community, what's called, in providing them with tactical and direction in defending their territory. You can have the alleged allegations he mentioned, and when we had the allegation at first, it was something that he had no option, but to raise the alarm. So we went there and we verified virtually all the alleged allegations by the major. And, the most, gruesome or the most disturbing one was when an alleged informant, was caught with ammunition. And he made mention of a soldier, according to the informant that was caught, that he was given the bullet by a soldier to deliver to bandits. And he handed, according to the major, that he handed the informant to the camp commandant there in Machika, And to his surprise, 11 days, the boy was freed. So, and we interviewed the father of the boy, who was approached, according to the father, by the camp commandant. At first, initially, according to the father, he said that he should pay 300,000 naira. And he said he doesn't have that amount. Luckily, he was able to raise 100,000 naira, and he delivered the money to the camp commandant, according to the father. And, there are a lot of, information that I cannot, say it here because
Jamil,
the full documentary will be out soon. So, but this is just, the ugly picture of what is happening.
All right, Jamil.
In Dandumi and in some other parts. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing this in-depth knowledge with us. We appreciate you. We're going to definitely track back with you in our subsequent bulletins to get more details. But then let me talk to Mike Ejiofor, who is another guest that's standing by. He joins me from Abuja to also shed light on this. Former director of one of the security outfits in Nigeria, of DSS, yes. So, Mr. Mike, thank you so much for coming around. I mean, you just listened to the in-depth analysis from our reporter, and you did watch the video. What do you make of the allegations around corruption and the compromise on the part of Nigeria's military personnel?
Well, it's very shocking and revealing. But I'm not surprised, because if you recall, I remember that Governor Zulu recently, he has been persistent in raising alarm over the involvement of our military. And this further confirms it. But I want to suggest that this incident is subjected to further investigation by the military higher authorities, because it's very, very disheartening that our troops will be in the field suffering, being killed recklessly by these bandits, and yet they are getting support from the bad eggs in the military. So it's quite disheartening, and I think it needs further investigation. But I must commend the News Central for this in-depth investigation. That's what journalism is all about. Good journalism for that matter. And I think to be subjected to further investigation with a view to flushing out bad eggs. I've also maintained that, the bad eggs, that is not to condemn the entire military. The bad eggs within the services tend to dent and give bad image to our military forces. You remember the case of Wadume, who was coming, and that the involvement of some policemen and the military, where some policemen were even killed. There are cases abound of this involvement. You also recall that in some cases, some of the military formations are attacked with reckless abandon. And if you ask questions, you see they go there, burn down armored vehicles, and even drive some away from that place. Ordinary civilian cannot. With my experience in the security services, I've not entered an armored vehicle, talk less of driving it, and yet people will come, carry these vehicles, drive them away, carry arms, and so there is connivance. I want to commend the retired major who gave this information, but I think the military authorities need to invite him for further clarification and authentication of the allegations.
We've heard and we've seen some footages of some of the army personnel say that there is lack of welfareism, they lack these sophisticated ammunition to deal with insurgency and banditry, and they're not even given the command to go out and fight offensively against these criminals. Do you think that could also be a source of worry and, of course, probably the bane of these misconducts that we're seeing play out?
Well, that exposes the rot in our society. It's not only the military. If you go to other sectors of the economy or polity, you discover that these things are bound everywhere. but that the welfare, we agree that the military, the welfare of the military and security forces must be paramount. But that's not sufficient because there's no sufficient welfare for people to be engaged in criminality. That's no reason at all, because the military, for instance, have decided to serve the country with all their heart, with all their mind. In fact, promises and preparing to pay the supreme sacrifice. So all this is not sufficient reason, but I believe also that welfare is very, very important. The government needs to look into the welfare of our military, because as it is now, the criminality is now a franchise by everybody getting involved, not only the military, even the civilians, like the politicians who pay what is called protection fees, which also gives encouragement to all these military people to get involved in this. So we need to look inwards to flush out these bad eggs if we must win the war.
Thank you so much, Mike Ejiofor, former director, DSS, for sharing your insights with us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course, we must let you know that News Central has actually reached out to the Nigerian Army to get more details around these allegations leveled against Army personnel. And of course, we've been intimated that some sort of investigation will be conducted. And while that is concluded, we will get more details as regards this, and trust us to bring all the information to you. And that's it on the news at this hour. But then let's look at our major stories before we go. Tinubu has sought National Assembly approval for $21.5 billion loan, 758 billion naira pension bond. PDP's National Executive Committee has set up a zoning committee to resolve national security secretary crisis at the next NEC meeting slated for June 30. We also told you that Algeria's presidential aspirants have been jailed for 10 years over corruption charges. Or you can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Do watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Alvo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Likon Onobanjo.